I have this one-on-one coaching client that really wanted to make a YouTube channel. She had been thinking about it for about a year and she knew that it was a great idea. She knew that she had answers that would help her existing clients and that would help her get new clients. But whenever she thought about starting to put herself out there on YouTube, she was terrified. I'm going to share with you during this video the 3 things that I shared with her that helped her get over that fear and that will help her and you not only get over that fear, but feel excited and motivated about putting yourself out there on YouTube. Hi, I'm Ashley Jangro. Welcome to my YouTube channel, where I help established businesses scale by growing their online presence. And one of the ways I do that is by helping clients with their YouTube channel, whether or not they already have one. So I started this conversation out by talking to this client about her fear. I was asking her, what does it feel like? How does it feel on a scale of 1 to 10? How afraid are you? And she was telling me, like, this is really high. Like, I sit down to make YouTube videos and I just cannot do it. And so I was asking her, what are some other things in life that you've done that are scary? Because it makes sense that we're scared to do a YouTube video. It's how our brains work and how, our brains are still back in those caveman days where being separated from the crowd feels terrifying because it meant certain death. But one of the great things about the brains we have now is that we can overcome that primitive piece of our brains with our prefrontal cortex. So I was just trying to help her through this rationally. Like, what are some other things that you've done that are scary and you've done them anyway? Like, do you like going on roller coasters or do you like watching scary movies? And I just was trying to show her that there are some things that give her that same vibration in her body of anxiety or fear, and she does them anyway. And she was saying, no, I don't really like roller coasters. No, I don't like watching scary movies. And all of a sudden she perked up and she said, oh, you know what I have done is I've gone skydiving. And I about fell out of my chair laughing, because to me, skydiving is about the scariest thing you can do. So I was saying to her, so you've gotten up in an airplane 10,000 feet. I don't even know how high it is when people go skydiving, 10,000 feet or so. And you jumped out, which obviously your brain is going to tell you is certain death. You've done that once. And she said, no, I go back. I've done it several times. And I, again, was just blown away. I'm like, you've done that, but it feels so scary to put yourself out there on YouTube. And she laughed and she's like, okay, so yeah, I've done scary things. I can do scary things. And that was just one piece of, information that we can use to help our prefrontal cortex overcome the tendencies of our primitive brain. That's a whole other video that I can give some tips and tricks on that. But what I really, once she saw that, what I really wanted to say is, or really help her see, is that you don't just have to be scared about doing it and do it anyway. There's more to it than that. I wanted to give her some techniques that she could use to not just get on video scared, because we can all imagine how she might show up on video if she was feeling very nervous, but that would leave her feeling excited and feeling motivated and driven to start making those videos. So the first piece of advice I gave her was, know that you're scared, know that it's because of how our brains work, and just go ahead and do it anyway. But in order to show up differently than appearing afraid, I gave her these next 2 pieces of advice. The first was I wanted her to really envision her ideal client. I wanted her to envision the problem that they were struggling with that she had a unique answer to. And whether or not you're listening to this and you think, well, my answers aren't even that unique. They are, because they're you, because there is someone that's looking for your unique brand of presenting it in the way that it will resonate with them. Only you can do that. So I wanted her to imagine that ideal client that needed her unique brand of advice. I used to do this when I was making videos for moms whose kids were struggling with mental health and presenting ideas and strategies to them. I would stop and I would imagine that mom that was sitting there yearning for an answer. I would picture her. I don't know why I pictured her in the car, but I would picture her sitting in her car, maybe because she needed to get away from her family because she didn't want her kids seeing her cry, and just crying and wishing she had the exact answer that I had. That made me so motivated to get my answers out there. I would practice thoughts like, my clients need to hear this. I have answers that they not only need to hear, that they want to hear, that they're searching for. And that was a thought that I would practice often. And it always got me motivated. I always thought, this is not about me. This is not about my fear in making a video. They need these answers. And that was kind of a serious topic, but this might be a lighter topic. Maybe your business handles lighter things. My husband makes, Minecraft videos, and he makes a very specific kind of video that has to do with the specific mods in Minecraft. And he has solutions that people are searching for. He has ideas of how to make a specific thing in Minecraft that people are looking on how to make. And he makes these videos, and he has a rapt audience because they need that answer. So it might not even be so serious as something like mental health. Maybe it is just how to make something in Minecraft. But he does the same thing where he can stop and imagine, okay, there's somebody out here who is looking for this. And I'm going to talk more about why that matters, but it really helps generate that motivation to get up and do the video when you're feeling like, nobody's going to want to watch my video. You can practice that thought. There is someone out there who wants and needs my information. And the second thing that I would have her do, and that I used to do, is I would imagine exactly who I was talking to. What most of us do is we imagine that we're speaking to someone who's going to be critical of us. Now, I'm not even talking about the trolls, because I think a lot of us can imagine putting ourselves out there on YouTube and getting troll comments back, and we could blow those off. We know that, there's some people who make it their business, their daily ritual to say something mean on the internet, and we can blow those off. But there's somewhere in between the troll and somebody who would enjoy hearing what we have to say. And it's the critics in our head. It's the seventh grade teacher that thought we weren't as smart as we were. It's the mean person in high school who would make fun of us. It could be somebody in our family that's like, that's actually not that helpful. It could be somebody that we look up to that would say, that's already doing what we hope to do. And they'd look at our information and say, I've already taught that and I teach it better, I teach it differently. Whoever it is, those are the kind of mid-level critics. And I think what most of us do is we get on YouTube and we start talking to those people. This is really helpful for me to think about because I tend to over-explain whenever I am making a video. So here's what I envision instead. I envision my mega fan. I envision that person who everything that comes out of my mouth, they're like, yes, that is exactly what I needed to hear. And I envision an entire room full of those people. Now, I happen to have some of those fans, and so it makes it a little bit easier. You may not yet. You may not be able to call up one specific person or group of people in your mind that listen to you with rapt attention, and that's okay. You can invent them in your mind. And what I want you to imagine when you go to make a video is not those critics, not those voices in your head that would critique anything you're saying, but a room full, an auditorium full, or maybe if that is too intimidating, a small, intimate room full of those people who would get your brand of humor, who would understand your inside jokes, who you would not have to over-explain to because they already speak your language. And I want you to imagine you are talking to that individual and a group of that individual. You can just imagine that there's numerous of that one person. And again, you can invent that. And here is why both of those things matter so much. Imagining that there's somebody who wants and needs the exact brand of advice that you have, and then imagining that you are speaking to your mega fan has to do with how you show up. If you show up and you're speaking to the critics, you're not going to show up with the confidence that you know exactly, when you're sharing your solution, you already know, you have the confidence that you know what you're talking about, but you're not going to show up that way. You're going to kind of hedge and hem and haw and say a lot and try to over explain and like give some more information so they'll really understand what you're talking about. But if you're picturing that you're talking to that mega fan, you are going to show up with all the confidence in the world that they already want to hear what you have to say. So if you go back and imagine that ideal client that desperately needs the information you have, if you're showing up talking to the critics and you're not showing up with your full confidence, then they're not going to get that critical piece of information that you have that they need. You're not going to serve them as well as you could. So I always like to say, we have no idea who's listening to us. We have our critics. Those are going to be out there. We have our mega fans. Those are also going to be out there. Both of them exist. Both of these realities are equally as true. So when we pick to focus on the one that's going to have us showing up confident and knowing that we have the solutions, then we're going to reach those people. Either one is going to be true. So focus on the one that has you showing up the way you need to. So these are the things that the three things. Showing up afraid, that's okay. But imagining the person that desperately wants and needs your unique advice, and then imagining that you're already talking to that mega fan who speaks your language, who gets your humor, all those things. Those three things keep me showing up even when I'm afraid, motivated because someone needs to hear my information, and excited because I'm talking to someone who wants to hear what I have to say. And that is always fun. So since I already know you're a mega fan, because that is exactly who I'm speaking to, I would love if you would go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel so I can share with you. You can be notified when I am sharing with you more tips and tricks to grow your online presence so that you can scale your established business. I'll see you next time.